Good evening. My name is Benay Kalak, and I wanted to create this video to share my experience and hopefully offer some support. On November 17th, my daughter and I tested positive for the coronavirus. Luckily, we haven't had the symptoms like everybody else. We have had symptoms, congestion, stuffy head, fever, cough, but that lasted for 3 days. So the county did contact us and let us know what we needed to do. We actually had already done it prior to them contacting us. We made sure that everybody who we were in contact with knew about it. They actually told us that we were contagious when our symptoms were active. So that was actually the 17th, 18th, 19th, which we didn't have any contact with anybody. But on the 17th, there was I think 1 or 2 individuals, so we wanted to make sure that we contacted them. Luckily, nobody has tested positive. It's just Malia and I. We don't know how we contracted it. But what I wanted to talk about today was actually the stigma that comes with COVID and the how it comes about, what happens. There's a lot of blaming. I know I talked to a good friend of mine from the National Indian Health Board, and he said, yeah, that's really common. Talked to a couple other friends and family out of different reservations and communities, and they said that they had some members that were, thinking of committing suicide because of the way they're being blamed. And I actually felt some of that social stigma and blaming. Our reservation is on a phase 2, which means that only immediate family can come in. And I know it's hard times because Thanksgiving was today. But thankfully, I did see that through social media that a lot of our tribal members were able to spend time with their immediate family. And, that made me feel a lot better. And I did contact our leadership and asked them, hey, because I did feel bad. I said, I hope that the reservation isn't in phase 2 because of me. And they said, no, it's because a lot of our local reservations the numbers were high, and as well as in the communities. And I was like, oh, okay. But obviously I let them know that, what my issue was. And I didn't know that we had something to support people who were on the who had corona. And but luckily some of my family members have dropped off food for Malia and I. Thankfully, Malia and I, our symptoms are gone. We didn't get hit hard. We haven't had symptoms for the last 8 days. The county informed us that, as long as we don't have symptoms for 24 hours, that we are cleared. They still want you to quarantine for 10 days. We're going to be on our 14th day, and Saturday will be that day. But what I wanted to share was the negative stigma that comes from the coronavirus. And I totally understand that. There's a big fear. I mean, for me, somebody was out there who was sick and exposed me. Or somebody was out there that was sick and exposed my daughter. And we didn't have the luxury of being told, but we are responsible in telling people who we were around that we tested positive. But I did want to share a little bit about the stigma and what's happening, because it's happening to me. A stigma can take many forms, including derogatory or blaming language towards individuals or groups. For example, using the term Chinese virus or Wuhan virus, as they're saying that, you should call it by what it is. Stigmas look like avoiding or rejecting certain people, groups of people, denying people service, including housing, education, or healthcare, or taking a form of actually physically and emotionally uh, violence, sharing violence, or acting out against others who have corona. Many groups that may be experiencing COVID related stigmas. These groups include American Indians, Alaska Natives, people of Asian descent, people who have coronavirus or have recovered from the coronavirus, people who have traveled or have legitimate needs to travel, healthcare workers, providers, and caregivers. I am I have been experiencing derogatory remarks and negative stigmas. Um, the rumor mill is pretty fast. Um, the blaming like it was my fault that the reservation shut down. People coming onto my property and informing somebody who I really already informed that I had coronavirus, but the individual did not contact me and say, "Hey, I told your person that you had corona," even though I took it upon myself to inform the individual. Um, my name is being spoken to individuals who I don't even know, and because it's such a small community, one of my relatives did know um, who they were talking about, and he he did share it with my family, and my family told me, and I was like, wow, I don't even know that person, and I guess the person heard it from somebody who was affiliated with our reservation. And then it was to the point where my birthday was on the 16th, and I went to 2 casinos, and I heard that someone said that I had gone up and down, the casino row, and they knew more about my life than I did. But I have to say that I'm thankful that they're not that the fingers are being pointed at me and not my daughter, because I wouldn't want my daughter to experience the this the negativity that I am. But what I can share also is, you know, if you're sick, stay home. Somebody was sick around my daughter or I didn't stay home. Social distance, wash your hands, take care of yourself. Um, we need to all work together. I'll be probably making another video soon, but I did want to share my experience. It made me sad, and I'm hoping that this little bit of information will help others. I hope you guys had a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.